G'day guys, how's it going? Welcome back of course to the Time Bomb channel, and I hope all is good in your part of the world. Watch review of the Seiko Prospex SPB451. And if you thought that the Game of Thrones TV series was compromised, well, the Seiko Game of Compromises is the gift that keeps on giving. Take our watch of the day. Let me just pop him off the cushion. We have, as you can see, the gorgeous blue of Daenerys. We have the demented quality control of Joffrey Baratheon. The 6R55 movement seems like it's been invented or designed by the High Sparrow. And then we, the stalwart legion of fanboys and fangirls, led by Hodor, faithfully keeping the door of delusion open to Seiko, just hoping that they will listen to us. Yes, the Game of Compromises, season 10 past 10, starts today. Enough of that, onto the watch. Let me just pause and zoom in a fraction. Okay, so as you probably know, these come in a variety of colours. Obviously, we have the blue one here, and straight out of the box, when I first saw it, to me, it kind of reminded me a little bit of the design DNA of the old Skin Divers. One of the things that I do love about it, that it's not another Rolex sub wannabe. It's a sort of it's the heritage piece that has the modern soul of a legend of the watch world, yet it flexes quietly. It is indeed the subtle unit, not the bling unit. Yet it is also Seiko reselling a thrice done old design with minor tweaks and severely cut corners. The unregulated movement might have you spitting expletives. You'll probably know all about the first versions of these, as Seiko sold absolutely shed loads of them. But I'm not going to compare it to the previous version, as I didn't own or wear the previous version. So thankfully I haven't been tainted by it and, you know, its strengths and weaknesses. The overall design, again, just coming back to that as I'm looking at it, kind of makes me think it's a little bit sort of Black Bay-esque. It's not exactly exciting in that sense, that if we consider the dial, and there's a little bit of fluff on there, if we consider the dial, the hands, the hour markers, etc., and the font, it's not refined and sexy, but what it is clear, legible, and that's what defines a dive watch, being easy to read, easy on the eye, and it's way cheaper than that Black Bay also. And just some key speccage in case you need it for these ones. It's about 40 mils across, and that's at its widest point, the 3 to 9 o'clock. But as you can see, obviously it's not entirely round and, you know, uniform in that sense, so it is not an even 40 mils all the way around. North to south, it is a smidge, I'm getting a smidge under 50 mils to the ends of those male end links. So obviously you can shave a few off of those and you get to the end of the lugs. So obviously your bracelet or strap option is going to determine the overall length on wrist. I'm getting about 13 mils deep, and it is of course sitting on 20 mil lugs. As you can see from the dial, we do get 300 meters, lovely 300 meters worth of watery goodness. Great thing having that additional resistance, but I'm not quite sure why they did it or what the point of that is. So on to some of the best bits about the watch, and since I've had it, you know, for the last week and been wearing it, the thing that I like most about it is the dial and the blue. The blue on this watch is quite possibly the best I've seen on a watch in a while. I often find that other blues, you know, when they go midnight blue or something like that, they're either typically too dark or they're too light, you know, tending towards the turquoise or eggshell. I don't like that at all. This blue is exemplary. The sun ray or sunburst on the dial, whichever you want to call it, is subtle and almost moody in the dark. And then in the sunshine, it's kind of like that high altitude sky blue. It's freaking amazing. And it's a complete eyeball magnet. Note also the minute hand and the seconds hand extend right into the minute track. And that's something that personally I value, because yeah, it just adds that exactitude when reading time. If we come again that fraction closer, pick up one of the niggles on this watch. Automatic 3 days. And I think the dial text might be one of the reasons why some people decide not to buy one of these. You know, you can replace other things on the watch like clasps and bracelets, but the design on something, sorry, the dial on something like this is a much more challenging fix. Regulars to the channel will probably have heard and remembered me, you know, waxing lyrical about the need for brands not even to put automatic on the dial. It's just completely redundant. And here, saying automatic 3 days, it's kind of like a child, you know, that's invented something. It's their first invention and they still can't believe it. Holy moly, I built a watch movement that can run for 3 days, so I'm going to put it on the dial. Meh. The date window is something that I like down there at the 4:30. I think the majority of watch owners watching this video today will have grown up with wonky dates, and we've been okay with it for years. So the fact that we've now got it vertical is a good thing in my eyes. But I get it that for some people, that date window is going to be too small. You know, you've got aging eyes. This does disappear sometimes into the dark depths of the blue. Another thing that I like about it is the bezel markings. We will notice on the countdown scale up here that your individual minutes are counted or marked, and they haven't had to, you know, so they've reduced the font of the 10, 20, 30, and that's allowed more room with those spacings. So instead of having the 3 markings here, you now have the full 4. And quite frankly, when I'm boiling an egg, I like to have the full minute markings there to help me out. The bezel, while we're talking about it, sounds like this. It's more purring than it is Metal Gears. And I think I must have got lucky with this one because it aligns pretty darn well. No issues at all with that. I mean, is there backplay in it? I mean, no, it's just that black backplay there, excuse me, when it's moving between. So again, pretty solid, and I can't find it missing out too much. And again, so that's a positive. The crown over here is unsigned, but what I do like about it is that it's big enough to get my chunky fingers around, so operate it, and it feels pretty clean. There is perhaps a teeny bit of wiggle, as you can see there, but maybe I'm exaggerating that by wiggling it. I don't know how yours is. But overall, I think it works quite well. The 6R55 movement is reliable and it's robust, but it's also very erratic on accuracy and can really depend on the one you've got. And the anti-magnetic properties, I think, are not on par with the overall price of the watch. Onto the case body. And I think that the case body and the angles and the lines are excellent. Let me just throw it on wrist. I've sized it already. As I say, I've been wearing it for about a week now. Excuse me, camera. So my wrist is 7¼ inch for reference. I think it's one of the best fits of a Seiko that I've had on my wrist since an SKX even. I just think the flushness of the case body and the little lugs, the way that they drop down, is absolutely brilliant. In addition to which, I find the side profile really quite pleasing to look at. You've got a very decent combination of, so let me just get those things out of the background there, camera will focus better. You've got a really nice contrast of brushing down the side. I prefer my case bodies brushed, and then you've just got that little chamfer shoulder as well. So the case body doesn't shine and reflect massive amounts of light, which again allow the light to all get drawn into that blue. The slinky curves, I think as well, you know, go all the way up, all the way down. And the lugs, I think, just about get to the bottom of the case body there. So again, that helps that fit on wrist. You've got very helpful drilled lugs, and there's a reason for that, and that is the bracelet. Yes, this is another reason that I think quite a few people are going to look elsewhere when they're making a decision about watches to purchase. The end links is the first area of problem, and visually it's like the angles don't match at all. The corners on here aren't the same corners, it's not aligned, and in addition to which, look at this. Look at the wiggle in that. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's the same on both sides. I'd like to tell you that it's just odd on one side, but it wiggles around in there, something absurd. It's almost as if You know, the end links themselves were perhaps designed for a different watch, and I think on a watch that retails for £1,200, that is totally unacceptable. And if you want to, you know, why am I banging on about it? Because if you look at these couple of watches that I'm popping up on screen here, you can see what I'm referring to, where the watch designer has, you know, picked, you know, has designed the end link to fit entirely within the lugs, etc. It sits flush. The tolerances are, you know, are tight, doesn't move. So yes. Added to that, this comes with that really annoying and very silly dive extension down here, which I absolutely hate. It's pointless. You can't use it when you want to. I really don't know why they just don't bother. So I was trying to get, I can't see what I'm doing through the camera. Thank you. I don't know why they persist with something as petty as this. It's almost twee. You know, they should stop wasting our time and theirs and just get an on-the-fly adjuster. You're going to need the on-the-fly adjuster, as I found out. Sorry, just get that back in there. Again, can't see through the camera. Second. Yeah, you're going to need it because of the dive extension that they've got here. You've got so few micro adjusts on this side. I'm finding, for example, the other day that I was wearing this, it was like 1 degree outside, very frosty, blah, blah, blah. So it was cold. Then I went into a function room. It was around 16, 17 degrees in there with the heating on, 3,000 people. So obviously your wrist swells, and it got really uncomfortable on wrist simply because my wrist had swelled so much. And, you know, if you've got the on the fly, you don't have those issues. So yeah, it's either, you know, a fraction loose if you're really cold, or it's too damn tight. Otherwise, the bracelet itself, it's a little bit jingly jangly, and overall, yes, I'm pretty underwhelmed with it. The loom is good, it's decent, but one of the things that I have noticed about it is that it almost seems to enjoy a good charge before deciding to really shine. If I compare it to the loom on my Willard, the loom on my Willard was exemplary. This one sort of, you know, doesn't quite seem as eager. What else? Yes, the price on these, and that's a fairly important thing to talk about. So retail for these in the UK is £1,200, and to me, the watch that price is just wrong. The upside, however, is that you don't actually need to pay the asking price. The watch shop that I work with currently has these on sale at £840. And they also have an additional 10% if you sign up to their mailing list, etc. The downsides, I think, to the savings is that you make on not paying retail is you may need to head over to Strapcode or Uncle Seiko and get yourself a better bracelet or find yourself a better clasp. So in conclusion, then, I think if you're spending close to £700 for one of these, then you are getting a mid-level, classy, highly spec'd, retro-inspired dive watch that looks the absolute nuts. However, if you're paying retail for one of these, you're probably going to be feeling a little bit miffed, shortchanged by the need to regulate that erratic movement, buy a new strap, and you'd probably rather not be doing that, having just forked out £1,200 for one of these things. So as I said before, with many Seikos around this price point, it's the game of compromises. They've won at the moment with me in the sense that the good looks of this watch have won me over. The blueness, the lines of the case body have me giggling with glee. I hope that my experience with this SPB isn't like my experience with the Willard, where in the end its foibles got to me and I moved it on. Anyway, as always, guys, those are just my mad rambling thoughts. Over to you guys. We really look forward to hearing your thoughts on this one. As I say, it's the refreshed version of one of their most popular releases over the last couple of years. So yeah, looking forward to hearing your thoughts and comments down below. Thanks as always for your time and for your view, and we'll catch you all in the next watch vid. Cheers, guys.